Zeph's that interested in following you? You okay where you are, Zeph? Story of your life.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Randy.
And I'm Diane.
We're Zephyr Travels, and this week we are in Boulder Beach Campground in the Lake Mead recreation area just outside of Las Vegas.
And we've been here since last Wednesday.
Yes, we've been here about a week.
Yeah. And we are boondocking, although we did happen to find a site that does have water, no electric, and it's been extremely hot. It's been probably in the 90s every day. Today we did have like a
little bit of rain.
A little bit of rain, probably less than 5 minutes, which cooled it off for about 5 minutes. And then the sun came back out, the temperature went up just a little bit, not as high as it was, and right now there's a nice breeze.
Yeah, but for most of the week it's been 95 degrees, and some days even creeping a little bit above that.
Yeah.
And the forecast for the week is even to be even a little bit higher than that.
We've also got some shower chances in the mix, mainly favoring our local mountains through the beginning of the week. Outside chance of seeing some wet weather in Las Vegas Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we do it again this weekend. Make it a great day.
So this is the first time we've ever really boondocked in really hot weather, and we've come up with a few things that seem to make it workable. It's not like air conditioning, but you know, we did a couple things when we got here as far as what site we took, and while we've been here, what we do to make sure that we try to keep the trailer as comfortable as possible.
We did pick a site that has a couple of nice shade trees. So basically what we've been doing is following the shade when we're outside. Both Monty and Zephyr have kind of been doing the same thing, although they do have the luxury of being able to go under the trailer and lay under the trailer where it is pretty cool for them.
Yeah, they've been actually, you know, for 95-degree weather and being hairy dogs, they've actually been pretty comfortable most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, our site, like Diane said, does have a nice shady tree which kind of hits our area right in the afternoon, but it also has some open sun area for the morning and early afternoon so we can get our solar, which is also important because, you know, we need to be able to run fans and different things in the trailer.
Portable fans that do have the USB plug on them, so you don't need electric for those either. You just have to recharge them by plugging them into your USB outlet. So that is something pretty new, and like I said, I wasn't aware of them, and we did buy
two of them
at Walmart.
Yeah, and they've been helping out a lot because those, at least you can direct some air towards you, and the fantastic fans tend to blow the air out the roof, the hot air out the roof.
Right, and with the nice breezes that we've had, we have been keeping the windows open, and so we do keep the blinds closed.
Yeah, wherever the sun is, we try to follow the blinds, keeping them down whatever side the sun's on. We also have the awnings deployed. One of the things that we do to help make sure that the trailer stays cool is we keep the awning deployed. And I also looked for a campsite that this side of the trailer would be facing south, because this is a larger awning and it would shade more of the trailer during the day. Now we've had a couple windy days, and so on those windy days, these zipped awnings have what's called a rally position, where you can actually partially roll it up so it's only about halfway out. And I would put it in that position on a windier day, just to make sure that it doesn't break. Get breezy, which is good because it's keeping us cooler. But we have the awning out on this side of the trailer because early in the morning the sun is coming in from this direction and hitting these windows, and so we want to keep these shaded as much as possible during the early morning so that it doesn't heat the trailer up. Now that it's getting windy, I think I'm going to roll it up before we run into any issues. We also use the rear awning here to help shade this back window so that we can still get some air through. But later in the day when the sun is low and coming in there, I would take this piece of reflectives right here, put it in like that, and that would prevent the heat buildup in the back of the trailer and keep it a lot more comfortable back there. I would take it out again in the evening so that we could get the cool air in. On this rear window, on the corner windows here, we've got reflectives, insulation inside the windows, between the windows and the curtain. And this does a lot to reflect heat out or keep the heat in. And you know, it's nice to have this nice view when you've got a good view to look at, but most of the time you don't, and you're just keeping the curtains drawn. So having this between the curtains and the glass helps keep it a lot cooler and warmer in there on colder days.
So we've been doing a lot to keep the trailer as comfortable as possible, and it's been working pretty well. You know,
a couple things that we've learned, I think, or I've learned on this. Fantastic fans use a lot of energy. They probably use as much energy as running the furnace in the wintertime or in cold weather. Overnight, we've been using 35 to 40% of our batteries if we run the fans all night. We've found that what I've been doing is playing with the temperature setting so that they do shut off during the night, so they're not running all night, and that helps. Another thing I've noticed, and we did a little bit today, is when the temperature starts to get warm outside, I shut the Fantastic fans off, because then I'm thinking I'm actually drawing in the hot air, and so I don't want to run that Fantastic fans as much then. I keep the vents open, let the heat escape, but I'm not drawing the cooler air in. And now when the sun starts to come down later in the evening, I'll bring the fans back up and start pulling that air back in. I think that's helped today quite a bit, but even though it has been a little cooler. We also have done a couple things to help stay cool. We went down to the water and, you know, sat in the water and cooled off one afternoon.
Yep, we decided, you know, to put the dogs in the truck, and we took them down to the water. Off to the beach. Maybe it's cooler down there.
It's only 96 here.
Oh, it's all?
Yeah.
It's 109 in the truck.
Well, that's because it's been sitting.
Yeah.
Hanging out at Boulder Beach with the dogs. Right, Monty? Oh, and Diane.
Right. And yes, it is a little bit cooler.
Yep.
Monty.
You just think this is a big giant water bowl that tastes funny, don't you?
Chows aren't known to be swimmers, but Zephyr will go up into the water up to her belly. She won't swim. And
she sat in the water.
She did sit in the water, yeah. But Monty, nope. Nowhere near, not even a little paw, nothing. But Zephyr, you know, she went right along. She's a little more adventurous than Monty.
I would say, yeah.
Yes. Come on. Come here. Come on.
I think Zeph's that interested in following you. When we camp with the dogs and, you know, we want to go someplace, you know, we've been comfortable with leaving our dogs inside the trailer, but most of the time, you know, we got full hookups and we've got air conditioning running and such. And well, we had to go away for a couple hours one day this week, and so we left early in the morning when the trailer was cool. You know, we kind of, like Diane says, we closed all the blinds so that we didn't have any light coming in. We turned on the fantastic fans to draw air through. We had the other fans running. And
we had all the windows
are open. And we thought, you know, the dogs would be comfortable. And realistically, they were comfortable. But the problem we had is Monty went through one of the windows and got out.
Well, we were driving back from, we had to actually go to the Apple store in
Las Vegas.
And we were driving back, and we get a phone call saying, your dog has gotten out. And we're like, well, how did he get out? I mean, what did he do? Open the door? And so we couldn't figure out. And then we said, well, we're on our way home. We'll be there probably 15, 20 minutes. Well, he was running around the park, and people are chasing him.
Well, he wasn't so much running around the park. He was running around the campsite.
Oh, okay. Well,
and what he was doing, from what we learned when we got back, is he was looking for us. And so anyone kind of came by, he would run out and check, and then he would go back and lay underneath the trailer. Well, the rangers came by, and, you know, Monty will not go up to a stranger.
right.
And so they couldn't really catch him, or, you know, the time or anything. But what they did is they just sat here and watched him and kept the people away from him until we got back.
Yeah, because we told the ranger, you know, don't chase him. You're not going to catch him, and, you know, he'll get afraid and just keep running. So we, you know, hurried up, and we, you know, Randy drove as fast as he could without, you know, breaking the speed limit or going too much over it. And then they called again and said, you know, he's under your trailer, and we're like, well, okay. So finally we get back, and he's at the trailer. He comes out, and he's all excited to see us and everything. And what he had done is he got himself out. We don't know exactly how it happened.
So this is a window that we think Monty got out, or we know Monty got out of, because the screen was open in this section. It was open just this much. We think he probably jumped up against the screen and then kind of fell through and then climbed his way out, got to the outside. Luckily he was okay and nothing really happened to him, and we had some really good rangers who were pet people and, you know, wanted to, you know, just hung around and made sure he was all right until we got back.
Right. But everything turned out okay. After that, of course, we left. We felt bad in leaving them.
Yeah.
But like we said, we did everything, and when we left them, you know, it was cool. It felt pretty cool in the trailer, and we weren't going to be gone for that long.
Yeah, we were going to be back, you know, in the very early afternoon, so it wasn't, you know, we were going to get that hot in there.
Right.
And they were comfortable. I mean, one thing I always do is I always kind of monitor the dogs, like if they're in the trailer, you know, on a hot day, and we're not able to run the air conditioning, you know, are the dogs panting? And they typically are not, because it's actually cooler down by the floor where they are, and they'll lay on the floor and they'll be comfortable. So I wasn't really worried that it was going to get too hot for them. There was enough air circulation. We were blowing the hot air out the vents on the roof. We just never thought of them getting out through the window like that.
Yeah,
that was something we just never even thought of.
Right. It was, you know, it was just an accident.
Right.
And we were amazed at the fact that Monty stayed around the trailer and didn't run.
Yep.
It would have been a long way for him to get up on the main road, but still, you just don't know. Things happen, and we were more or less afraid that, you know, he would just keep running, and we'd be out.
Well, we learned something.
Looking for him.
We learned something about him.
Well, Monty is growing up. He's getting to be a very well-mannered, mature
dog.
chow.
Yeah, chow. Yep.
And, you know, it may have been different if Zephyr had also decided to jump out.
True.
But
she didn't have any interest in it.
No, she didn't. So she, you know.
And that kind of also makes me think that it was more of an issue where he kind of fell out.
Yeah, it wasn't, you know, oh, I got to get out of here.
Right. He might have saw something that he jumped up on the screening and thought that, you know, that would hold him, and it just gave away, and then he just ended up outside.
Yeah, so.
But because of that kind of limited us from being able to do some things while we were here. So we couldn't go kayaking because we really couldn't leave. the dogs unattended.
Right.
You know, when we're in a situation like this, and it's something that kind of take away from this for yourselves, if you're ever like this, if you're someplace where you've got to have your windows open to keep your trailer cool for your dogs, then you really can't leave them in there like that because they're not secure. They could get out through the screens.
Right. And yeah, so it was a good lesson for us. And
the ranger did mention that the rule is you can't leave your pets unattended. I've always interpreted that to mean you can't leave unattended outside. Right. But when you think about this, if they're in your trailer and they could get out, you can't leave them unattended like that either. Now, if the trailer was all closed up and they're unattended and you were able to run the air conditioner or it wasn't hot,
right,
then I'm sure there would never be an issue with that.
Right.
But because they could and did get out,
right,
it was an issue.
Yeah. I mean, we've left them many times inside the trailer.
Right.
And for us, we know each dog is different and what each owner feels comfortable doing with their dogs. But for our two, we've never had a problem with
right.
that.
And they've said that the rangers had said that they've come to campsites where the people have left the dogs outside in crates or in fenced-in areas and unattended, and they, really don't want people to do that.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky. The rangers stayed here for probably about a half hour with the dog,
right,
and watched over him. They could have called animal control and had him picked up, but they called us instead, and understood that we were coming back as quickly as we could. We told them where we were, right, and about how long it would take for us to get there, and we talked to them a couple of times on the way back.
And the important thing is they are both chipped. They both have tags with their name and phone number on. We have our phone number on our trailer, and so that's also
right,
a good piece of advice if you do travel with your dogs or cats or whatever. If they are outside or they can get out of your trailer, that's always a good idea.
Yeah, that's actually a couple good points. Now we have a sign on the door that says "Chow Chow" inside, and we also had a sign made up that's on the trailer on the front window, solar guard, that actually has both of our phone numbers, and so in case of emergency, please rescue our pets, and we give them our number. And then if someone were to call us, and our thought always was if there was some reason that someone had to get the dogs out of the trailer. And so we have our number there. When we leave them, we lock the door, and we have a hidden key that we could tell somebody where it's at, and they could get in there and get the dogs out.
Well, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, Zephyr Travels.
Leave us a comment if you've ever boondocking in hot weather, and what type of things did you do to make it comfortable during your stay.
Right. So until next time,
we will see you down the road.
See you down the road.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Let's not waste time, we'll take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but